The complete manifestation process, from expressing your desire, so the scripting and the visualizing, to how to get into alignment with your desire, to how to detach from your desire. I want to make a comprehensive video that covers the whole manifestation process that I go through that always leads me to getting to my desire. Definitely watch the video until the end, because if you understand these 3 stages of manifestation and understand how you can feel as well if you've detached enough or if you are already in alignment with your desire, that's when you really tune into the art and the magic of manifestation, because then at that point you will be able to sense when your desires are on the way. Let me get into it. My name is Davy. I am a PhD student in chemical engineering at the University of Cambridge, and in my free time I love to study things about the law of attraction, spirituality, even linking this back to science. And over the years I've come to truly understand what manifestation is about, how manifestation feels, what you go through, and what different methods you can use to call your desires into this physical reality. And I've boiled it down to this sort of 3-stage process, which is not necessarily sequential. Some of these processes are happening at the same time, but these 3 stages of manifestation is what will lead you to getting your desire, which is firstly expressing your desire, secondly getting into alignment with your desire, and thirdly detaching from your desire. So I'm gonna walk you through all of these 3 stages, really get into the depths of how you can sense and feel whether you've expressed your desire enough, how often do you visualize and script, for example, where do you need to get more into alignment with your desire, or whether you would benefit from detaching more from your desire in order to let the things come into this physical reality. Let me get into it. So the first stage, expressing your desire. Expressing the desire is where we give birth to the reality of our desire. So we can either do this through scripting or visualizing. It is the same thing. Some people get more emotions involved when they write things down because it's already a manifestation into the physical. Other people just resonate really well with visualization. Now, why is this first stage so important? Manifestation works with frequencies. So the universe consists of all of these realities, all of these channels that you can be on. And we constantly are tuning into the channel of the universe or the reality we want to live in. And we do this through resonating with our thoughts. The thoughts are channels, create thoughts, and through resonating with thoughts, which is feeling the associated emotions, we then tune into that reality. We use our emotions, which is our frequency, our little radio, to tune into the right channel. Now, through expressing the desire, we are creating a new channel in the universe. I personally alternate between visualizing and scripting. Sometimes before bed, you can just do a little visualization, right before you go to bed. When it comes to more masculine desire, so with that money-oriented desires, I find it more useful to script and write it down. When it comes to more romantic desires and or friendships, a visualization I often find more satisfying in a way. Now, how do I script? I alternate between different methods. My favorite way is writing a letter from my future self to my present self as if I already have achieved my desires. And what is really important with both the scripting and the visualization is that you keep tuning into your emotions. Don't just write things down and don't give yourself time to sense and tune in. Write every sentence down and then really take the time to feel, okay, how did it feel to write that sentence down? Did I get excited? Did I get scared? Did I get a lot of disbelief where I was like, oh, really? Is that gonna happen? Really tune into that feeling. Now, manifestation is based on faith, right? But I believe that 80% faith, or maybe even just 60% faith, is enough. Because there's definitely been times where I scripted things or wrote things down and I was like, really? Is that gonna happen? Like 80% of me was like, yeah, this is gonna happen. 20% of me was like, really? And it did happen. So don't be put off by the fact that there's always going to be a little voice in your head, the rational mind that's going to doubt whatever you're writing down. That is not a problem. However, what is important is that writing your desires and scripting them and visualizing them. So going into detail, writing a specific scene where you go through, or a specific scenario where you already have your desire. When you're scripting about these things, it should make you feel excited. It should make you feel like, wow, that, you know, there is a possibility of me having that. And really be careful as well when you're scripting of the wording that you use. If there is a sentence that you write down and that sentence didn't make you feel good, let's say you put out a really large number of money, you're like, oh, I have 10 million on my bank account. You write that down, but there's no emotion coming with it. It just feels dry because you're like, 10 million, really? You know, be careful with that. Tune into that emotion. If 10 million is not resonating with you, write down a different number. Write down a smaller number. Write down a number that is believable to you, and reformulate things that don't feel good to you. Reformulate desires that are not resonating with you currently. See if the desires are actually making you feel good as you're writing them down. Are they making you excited? Are they making you feel motivated? Are they making you feel like moving forward? If not, change them, adjust them slightly, or formulate them in a different way. Now, sometimes I like to write a letter from my future self to my present self. If you're manifesting a relationship, you could even write a letter from your future partner to yourself. Or sometimes when it comes to desires that are around the corner, for example, you want to be an entrepreneur and you're already in the process of starting your business, it can be really useful to write into the present moment, to really more so get into that feeling of, I am already an entrepreneur, I am successful, I am doing this, I am getting things done, right? So try to play around with the formulation based on your own emotions. And, you know, a lot of people that are sort of seeking these specific methods or specific formulations, I think you're not really listening to your own emotions. I want you to find the formulation and the way of putting things that feels good to you, that makes you feel excited, that is believable to you. And if that doesn't happen, make your desire a little bit smaller or change it a little bit. Or start with manifesting something different first that is believable to you, that would resonate with you, that is maybe much easier to attain, so that you grow this faith in manifestation as well first, before you get to manifesting your grand desires. Now, another way I like scripting is like as if you're writing a mission statement for yourself, or as if you're writing your own Wikipedia page, as if your whole life has already happened and your desires have come into fruition, and write this Wikipedia page. So sort of second person writing about yourself. So Davy has, or Davy did, or you know, so using your own name, writing in the second person, that can really resonate. Play around with the words, play around with the way of formulating until you find something that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel excited, guys. Just play around with the wording and play around with how to formulate your desires, or play around with which desires you want to write down, depending on what makes you feel good. And for the visualizing, exact same thing. Some people are more visual and just like to just stick to visualization. And I find that right before bed, I'd rather do visualizations, and at other times I might actually get to scripting. How often should you script and visualize? Answer to this is as long as it feels good. But often, if we're scripting every day, if we're asking for things every day, if we're visualizing every day, we're being quite forceful, we're being quite needy. And I'll get to detachment in a second, but often we're not that detached at that point because we're constantly asking for it. If you have to see the universe as a sort of father figure, like God, right? If you want money from your dad, would you keep begging him and asking him, or would you just ask him once and you're like, okay, then I'll let him decide if he wants to give it to me? And how is he gonna give it to you sooner if you're just a grateful child, right? We'll see this in the same way. If you're asking the universe for something, be humble, be grateful, don't be needy and don't keep asking for it. But if you're still in the stage of trying to convince yourself or get into the feeling of the desire, at that point it can be good to keep on scripting until you feel the right emotion, right? So keep scripting until you feel that feeling of like, okay, you know, I'm now letting it up to the universe. I'm now letting it go. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel excited because, you know, at some point I also reached this stage with my desires. I've scripted about them. With some desires, I scripted about them for months Not every day, but like once a week, for example. And at some point I'm like, I know it's on the way. I'm gonna let it go now and let it up to the universe. And then during the day, I still remind myself sometimes like, oh, you know, or I have a little small visualization thinking about my desire, and that just makes me feel excited. Now that is fine. But if we're needy and we keep visualizing forcefully every day and scripting every day, that doesn't feel good to us. That comes from lack of belief. That comes from lack of faith. So again, listen to your emotions with assessing how often you need to do this. Let me get to the second stage, getting into alignment with your desire. This is about taking on the identity of your desire. I've talked about this many times, but manifestation is not desiring and wanting and craving. Manifestation is becoming the person that has the desire, taking on the identity, seeing yourself as the person that could have the desire. Now, when it comes to, for example, manifesting money, it's not just about wanting the money. It is about identifying with a person that would have more money. Now, how can you check this? Well, look at other people that have the amount of money that you're trying to manifest. Do you look up to them? Do you put them on a pedestal, or do you resonate with them? You're like, yeah, well, I know I'm not that rich right now, but I know I will be, so I'm like still not looking up to you in a way where you seem, I still respect you, but I don't look up to you in a way where fangirl, like, oh my god. So again, tune into that feeling. And how do you take on the identity? You can use the power of your words to do this. And what is really important here is that you become hyper aware of the words that you speak during the day. For example, if you're trying to attain something, if you're trying to, let's say I'm trying to finish my PhD. If I keep going around all day complaining to my friends and my surrounding, oh, my PhD is so hard, I'm never gonna finish it in time. And at the same time, I'm scripting to want to finish my PhD. That doesn't align, right? Or I'm trying to manifest money and I'm scripting about money, yet I'm walking around all day complaining about how broke I am, and I'm complaining about bills, and I'm talking about, I'm not taking on the identity of having the desire. When I want to manifest a relationship and I'm scripting about it, visualizing, but then during the day, I'm like looking around and frustrated when I see other couples, and that makes me feel sad and lonely, or I keep talking to my friends or surrounding about how I'm single, then I'm not taking on the identity. This taking on the identity is this almost this period of delusion, already thinking you have it, already thinking it is on the way. As if you ordered your parcel from Amazon and you know it's coming. And changing the story, changing your identity often happens through your words. So become aware what you speak about during the day. And if you find yourself complaining about things, or find yourself saying things that are contradicting your desire. So when you want to manifest money, you talk about being broke, or you want to achieve something, but you talk about how you're not capable, or you speak about the lack of your capabilities and you're like, oh, I'm so bad at this, I'm so stressed, I'm so this. All of these words are affirmations and are keeping you away from your desire. You can script whatever you want about your desires, but if during the day your words are constantly contradicting your desires, contradicting the identity of having the desire, your manifestation cannot come in. You're not identifying with it. Not only catch the old story and become aware of the stories that you're currently perpetuating into the world, but also start to tell new stories. I am confident. I am good at presenting. I am an entrepreneur. And if you feel uncomfortable saying this to people because that feels like a lie, say to yourself in the mirror, I am this now. I have this amount on my bank account. I have this. Go to the mirror, honestly, that is a really good one, and speak these words in the present moment as if that is already part of your identity currently. And during the day, we can also remind ourselves of the identity of our desire as we're doing groceries, as we're doing other mundane things. How would it feel to drink this glass if I already had my desire? Let's say you're wanting to manifest a relationship and you're having dinner by yourself. Imagine having dinner with your partner and try to sense what would that feel like. And this is also the time to sense if you are already in alignment. If that is hard to visualize for you, if that is hard to imagine for you sitting there with a partner, you're not in alignment or not close to getting into alignment with that. And that is okay. We can keep scripting and visualizing and practicing with this, right? And using the power of our words, speaking to ourselves in the mirror, using affirmations to change our belief system, to change our identity. We could even create an alter ego, create this alternate persona, that highest self version of you that already has all of these desires. That is not you who you currently are, because you don't have your desires yet, but this alter ego. And try to turn on the alter ego now and then, as if you're in a movie, as if you're acting. Like, okay, today I'm gonna act as if I am a millionaire. Today I'm gonna act as if I already am in a relationship. It's okay to sort of externalize it in this way and see it as this alter ego, see this as this future version of you that isn't here yet. But then during the day, just pretend and act sometimes as if you are that version now. When we are changing our identity into the identity of having the desire, we also need to become very aware of the old stories about the past that we still are carrying with us. What stories about the past are you still telling to people? Maybe it is some trauma that you've been through, or maybe it is just that the fact that you had a bad day at work, or a bad week, or a bad year. What stories about the past are you still speaking? Because everything that you speak about that has happened in the past, you're still carrying into the present. So that frequency of the past, you're making that your current frequency, which means you're manifesting more of that into the future. So really become aware. What stories am I telling to other people about my past? And we often talk about our trauma to other people to make them understand us better, right? For example, I noticed that I sometimes still tell people, oh, I've been in a toxic relationship. I made a video about toxic relationship. I'll link it up here. But then I suddenly realized, wait, actually, I don't want that to be part of my current identity anymore. Why am I still saying that? Why am I still affirming that? Why am I still... Because you're only saying that because you think that is still part of who you are. You think that has shaped you to be the person that you currently are. But if you want to stop that cycle, if you want to change, if you want to change your identity, you need to stop speaking about these past events. You need to let go of them. Yeah, they happened, but you're now a different version. That was an old version of you that went through that. Now you've changed, now you've healed, now you're moving forward. And yeah, become very aware during the day, especially when you introduce yourself to people or get to know people. What stories are you telling them? Those stories are affirmations. That is what you identify with. Become aware of them and take a look at them, and you're like, wait, actually, what about these stories? What about this identity do I want to change? And what about these stories does not align with the current future self that I'm creating and the desires that I'm trying to call in, right? Third stage of manifestation, which is not sequential to aligning with the desire. It sort of integrates at the same time, which is detachment. Detachment is really important and really difficult at the same time in manifestation, because we often have the desires that we want so bad. So how do we get detached? We get detached by not caring about the outcome, not caring about the specific outcome. So a detached state is a feeling of whatever I'm manifesting, I know it will be good. Maybe it will not be exactly what I'm asking for now, but from the frequency that I'm emitting when I'm calling in my desires, I know it will be good. So I'm detached to the outcome. I'm detached to when it will happen. I'm detached to how it will happen. Why? Because thinking about my desires or visualizing them makes me feel so good and so excited that I know my desire is on the way, or I know my desire will come to me eventually at some point in some form, and I know it will feel good. I don't know exactly what it looks like. For example, when you're trying to manifest a relationship, you might not know exactly what this person looks like, but you know it will be good. When you're trying to manifest money, detachment is about you've already identified with that person that has more money now. So you're not specifically attached to actually having the money. You're already identifying with it now. So there is a level of detachment. And a lot of detachment is also just about living in the present moment and enjoying the journey. Finding joy in the present moment. If you're wondering, how do I get detached from my desire? Because I really want my desire. How do I detach? Because I'm desiring it. Go to the present moment. Use meditation and mindfulness to tune back into the present moment. Use gratefulness to tune back into the present moment and start to appreciate what you already have. Now that is a detached state. You still would like to receive your desire, but you're also creating happiness in the now. Detachment is about being happy in the now. When you have all of these goals and dreams and desires that you're trying to manifest, but you're being a little ungrateful, little spoiled child in the present moment. Like, oh, you know, I'm not happy with this. I really want a new house. I really want this. Again, that father figure that is giving you your desires, God or the universe or however you want to call it, why would they give it to an ungrateful child that isn't happy in the present moment? Honestly, detachment is just about having the faith that your desire is on the way, but then not constantly obsessively thinking about it and being unhappy in the present. We cannot manifest things that can make us happy when we're unhappy in the present. When we're currently emitting frustration with our current life circumstances, we are not aligning with more good to come in. So detachment is truly about going back to the present moment, your current life circumstances, and finding appreciation and gratefulness for them, finding joy in them, finding joy in the journey towards your desires. Working towards your goals and dreams should also be an enjoyable experience, not just getting the desire. You can get detached through just being grateful for what you already have. Make a list or maybe make a journal entry about how you're already grateful for the present moment, and during the day, romanticize your life. Try to look at the fun of it. So for example, you're trying to manifest a large amount of money, but currently you're still having your 9-to-5 job or something. Try to romanticize that experience. You know life will get better in the future. So try to just enjoy this experience now. This honestly, as if you know when you're watching a movie and the plot is gonna get really good, but in the beginning it's just a bit slow and boring, etc. Look at that way at your life. You're still in the pre-phase. You're still leading up to your desire, so still enjoy that. Still enjoy that moment of growth and evolvement through being grateful. Like, life will get better. If you are grateful now, if you are detached and happy and find joy in the now, life will get better. I also get the question, how can I script and visualize whilst also being detached? Well, being detached is just about not being too attached to that specific outcome. For example, when people try to manifest specific people into their life, don't do that. That is not being detached. Detached would be just manifesting love in general, manifesting how we want to feel, tuning into that. And the same with money. We're not too attached to the exact amount. We can script and visualize about the exact amount. I'm not saying that, but we're not too attached to that amount. We are just visualizing about the feeling and how we feel wealthy and how it makes us feel and how our life experience is, right? It's like when you receive a present, right? And you're just like, no, I only want that specific thing as a present, instead of just being happy for any present that you receive, right? That is detachment. I know God will give me good things if I am in a good frequency now. So I don't care exactly what he's going to give to me. I'm not too attached to the exact outcome. It doesn't exactly have to be the way I plan it. But I know that if I get myself into a happy, positive, joyful, grateful frequency now, whatever I will receive will be good. So to get practical with you guys again, how to get detached. Use mindfulness, tuning into the present moment, going for mindfulness walks and enjoying nature, really looking at the leaves and the flowers, appreciating your current house, your current environment, appreciating your current clothes, appreciating your current money, even though you want more of it, appreciating your current friendships, even though you want to manifest a relationship. That is detachment. Being happy in the present. And being happy in the present doesn't mean you don't strive for more. You can still ask for more to come in, but if you're grateful, you actually will receive more to be grateful for, because gratefulness is rewarded by more good that will come your way. And how can you feel if you're detached? Well, if thinking about your desire is stressing you out and you're like, oh, when, how, then you're too attached. What you should do then is start to create a life in a present moment that you enjoy by romanticizing your life, by living in a present moment, by expressing gratefulness. You know you're detached when you feel like, okay, I know my desire will come to me at some point, but I'm not too fussed about when or exactly how or whatever. I can still script and visualize now and then if that makes me feel good, if that makes me feel excited for my desires. But I'm letting it up to the universe. I'm putting back control to the universe. I'm not gonna be the one in control. That is being detached. I'm just enjoying my life in the present, enjoying the journey towards my desires, enjoying this life experience of having the opportunity to evolve and grow and see the contrast of life, the good and the bad and the ups and the lows, and really tuning into the moments where I feel joy and appreciation for what I already have. Thank you so much for watching. I hope anything in this video was useful. Definitely leave me a like and a comment with your thoughts on the manifestation process or things that would really work for you. Also follow me on Instagram, which is davy_shitram, where I will post more about my personal life, manifestation, etc. And I would love to see you in my next video. Sending you my love.